Welcome to Gentle Yoga. All of the postures we'll explore in this session can be done seated in a chair or working from a chair, should you wish. So if you'd like that option, have a chair handy and you can have a seat on it now. Otherwise, we'll be working on our yoga mat and taking a comfortable seat. Having a little lift under the sits bones may help you feel more comfortable as you're sitting. So bringing awareness to alignment as we're sitting here. I'll turn to the side so that you can see I have a little lift under the sits bones, and I'm finding that comfortable base in which to sit and encouraging our spine to align. So being aware of the pelvis and then finding the shoulders up over the hips and finding the ears up over the shoulders. Encouraging the chin to be parallel to the floor and then dropping the chin down ever so slightly to elongate the back of the neck. So that sensation of growing roots through the sits bones down into the earth and growing tall into that space above your head. So hands are resting on your legs, or hands can rest in the lap. I'll take a moment to show posture seated in the chair with the ears, the shoulders, the hips aligning and the hands resting on the legs or in your lap. Chin parallel to the floor, and we're growing tall into the space above your head. So with that awareness of the body as a whole as we're sitting here in this space, we'll bring awareness to the breath flowing in and out through the nostrils. And just inviting the body to soften around the breath. Just feeling the gentle flow of the breath moving in and out of the body. So here, we might invite the arms to float out and up. And then let the arms float down that midline. Let's try that again. Taking the arms out and up and releasing the arms down. And let's see if we can time this movement with our breath. So inhaling, the arms float out and reaching for sky. And exhale, letting the arms float down. And again, inhale. Inhale and exhale. Lovely. Just let the arms relax here. Bring hands on the legs. We're just going to roll the shoulders forward and up and back and down. And we might invite this movement to flow with breath. So inhaling, shoulders rolling forward and up, and exhaling, the shoulders release back and down. So timing movement with breath is lovely. If, however, that feels complicated in any way, let go of that and just continue to breathe slow and deep and rhythmic and explore the movements. Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Find a ha or sigh breath and just let those shoulders soften down. Beautiful. Let's make our way to stand. So coming up into Tadasana or mountain pose, finding the feet hip width distance apart. And I'll turn sideways for awareness of alignment. So with the feet hip width apart, we might take a moment just to rock up onto the balls of the feet and back onto our heels. And then as the feet begin to settle into the earth, we're going to bring awareness to the center of the heels and the inner and outer edge of the ball of each foot. So as if you have little dots, inner and outer edge of the ball of each foot and the center of each heel. We're going to press into those areas. Yeah. And as if growing roots down deep into the earth at those very points. And then as we work skyward, we're going to see that the knees are up over the ankles and that our hips are up over our knees, our shoulders are up over our hips, and the ears are over the shoulders. And finding that chin parallel to the earth and finding that lift through the crown of the head. So it's this dual action. We're rooting and grounding to earth and lifting and growing tall toward the sky. So if we imagine that we were a flower, we could think about below the waist being roots growing deep into the earth, and then our spine being the stem of the flower, and then our head being the flower itself, opening and expanding and growing toward the sky. So here we are once again, mountain pose, and we're breathing. Bringing one hand on the navel, just on the navel, the other hand resting on the upper chest. And let's bring awareness to our breath flowing in and out of our body as we stand in alignment. So the breath flowing in, relaxing the belly, feeling that belly expanding toward your hand. And as we exhale, the navel gently drawing toward the spine. You might feel that sensation of tailbone tucking under, growing long, so the spine elongating. Beautiful. Let the arms come to your side. So we're going to rock forward onto the balls of the feet and then back onto the heels. So feel that gentle transition of weight in heels into the balls of the feet and into the toes. Beautiful. And now allow that weight to be evenly distributed. And we're going to invite the arms to float forward and up. And then let the arms float down. And we're going to invite the heels to lift. And we're just going to be here holding, breathing. And when you're ready, release the heels. Good. Then we might take the arms up, just reaching towards sky. Pressing into the balls of the feet, inviting the heels to lift. Once again, a little or a lot, totally up to you. Go ahead, release the heels, release the arms. Lovely. Now let the hands come onto the top of your legs. We're going to bring awareness to the pelvis. As we bend the knees, we're going to take the pelvis back and down. Utkatasana, chair pose. So hands are resting on top of our legs. You can use them for support, or it can be just a very light touch. So the more you bend your knees, the more challenging this pose is. So here is where you can work to your comfort level always. Navel drawing to spine. So we're giving the spine a nice hug with our core muscles. Bring awareness to your feet. An invitation to rock forward onto the balls of your feet and invite your heels to lift off the mat. So breathing and holding. And go ahead and release the heels to the mat and press those heels to the mat so that your toes and the balls of the feet feel a little lighter, a little more pressure into the heels. Just see about that. Beautiful. And we're breathing. And then go ahead and rise back up to stand. Lovely. Give the body a little wiggle, a little shake. So as we come a little, actually I'm going to turn this way, we come a little more forward onto the mat. Go ahead and bend the knees and we're going to find Utkatasana once again. We're going to find that chair pose and we're going to hold here. So a slight bend in the knees, whatever feels comfortable for you. Navel to spine. Good. Now invite the right hand to come on top of the left hand. The left leg. So on the both hands, left hand, right hand, on top of the left leg. Now take awareness to your right leg, and we're going to invite that leg and foot to step back. We're now into a high lunge pose. And we're going to hold here, breathing. Now the invitation is to go ahead and stay here in your high lunge, or if it's available to you, we're going to bring awareness to that right knee, and we're going to bend that knee, and we're going to invite that knee to find the mat. So as that knee comes down, it's more underneath the body, a little more of a gentle lunge. So here, the right toes, so the toes of the back foot are curled under. You can explore there, give a nice stretch to the top of the foot or the bottom of the foot, or you can go ahead and release the top of the foot to the mat and be in your lunge. So explore those options, see what feels good. Now, you can invite the hands to move to the mat. If you're using a chair, you might bring your hands, if I scoot forward, you might bring your hands onto the seat of your chair. So that's an option. So invitation to increase the stretch here, you can take that back knee and move it further back. So we're increasing the stretch through the top of that leg into that groin area. So be with what feels comfortable and available to you. Again, if you're using a chair, your hands can be here. So invitation, if you want to move into a twist, the left hand is going to come to the outside of that left knee, and I'll actually turn around here so that you can see. So whether you are with the back knee further back or more under your body, again, depending on what feels good. So the left hand on the left, outside of the left knee, the right hand is on the mat, so you can come up on, you can make a little fist, and have your hand resting like this, or you can have your palm down and be up on your fingertips. See what feels good. You can also use a block, or your hand could be on your chair. We'll take a breath in, and we're going to exhale and gently rotating our heart toward the knee. Keep the knee up over your ankle, and just find that gentle rotation. So one of the things you can keep in mind when you're working with the rotation, I'm going to turn and face you, is that the further your hand is away, the more gentle the twist. Yeah. So you can keep that in mind as you're working in your lunge twist. So this is a low lunge twist. Lunge twist can also be done in a high lunge with that back knee off the mat. So that's another option that you might wish to explore. So as I turn around in our lunge. Beautiful. So then go ahead and curl the right toes under if they aren't already there, bringing the hands on top of the leg. And we're going to take a nice deep breath in. And on the next exhale, we're going to step that foot forward, coming back into chair, and go ahead and rise up and give the shoulders a nice roll. So I'm going to turn just so that you can see better. We're going to do that same thing. I'm going to work with that lunge sequence on the other side. So here we are, back to our mountain pose. And then hands on top of the legs, go ahead and find your chair pose. So taking your pelvis back and down. Always in chair pose, if you were to look down, you would see your toes past your knees or in front of your knees. If your knees are out in front of your toes, you want to take your pelvis back and down so that you can see your toes. So here we go. So now we're going to take the left hand onto the right leg, and we're going to bring awareness to the left leg. It's going to step back. So we're coming into that high lunge. And we're going to be here because this might be where you're going to work from. That's fine. Always working to what feels comfortable and available in your body. You can always just step back to chair, back to your mountain pose, and then come in and out of this. That's a great place to start or work from, depending on what you're wanting from your practice today. So awareness to that left knee, the back knee. We're going to invite that knee to bend, and that knee is going to come to the floor. So here, more gentle version of our low lunge with the knee to the floor, underneath the body. So you might be here. Front knee is always over your ankle. And so option, the toes can be curled under or the top, and or you can do both. You can play in and out with a nice stretch for the bottom of the foot. Top of the foot can come to the mat. You might want a little more of a stretch here. If you do, you can either take the knee back or take the front foot forward so that your knee is more back behind you. So whatever option works. So here we are in this low lunge and a deeper stretch here. And we're breathing. So hands can come to the floor. You can use the turn around. If you're using a chair, you can bring the hands onto the chair. Then move into the twist. So the right hand's going to come to the outside of the knee. And so you can, if your hand's on your chair, you can work from here. It's a more upright twist. Or you can bring the hand to the mat, and we're going to rotate toward the heart, toward the knee. Inhale, you can be neutral. Exhale, rotating heart toward the knee. So just see what feels good in your body. And remember, if I move away from the cube so you can see, if I take that hand further away, it opens up that twist so it's quite soft, as opposed to the hand being closer to the foot will tighten that twist. So you're going to see, you can play with that. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to bring the hands back onto that right leg, curling the toes under. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to rise up into that high lunge. Good. So we're lifting the back knee off the mat. Take another breath in. And exhale, stepping back foot forward. We're back to our chair pose. Hands are resting on top of our legs for support. And then go ahead and rise up into our mountain pose. Nice job. Go ahead and circle those shoulders. And give the body a wiggle and a shake. You can open your mouth, let your tongue out, wiggle and shake. It releases any tension in the jaw. Another big breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Ha or sigh. Beautiful. Standing balancing pose. Let's work with Virabhadrasana 3. Excuse me. Virabhadrasana 3 or Warrior 3. We're going to work with the option of the arms pointing down to start, and then when we go into our pose, they'll be stretching back toward the wall behind you. But you can, if you wish, work with the option of extending the arms either forward, so more aligning the forearms with your ears, or taking the arms out to the side like the wings of an airplane. Okay, so lots of options to play with. So let's bring awareness to our mountain pose, and then we're going to rock from side to side. So just gently shifting your weight to the right foot and the left foot. You can close your eyes here and just let your body feel that shifting of the weight. So we're communicating with the body that to bring awareness to weight shifting. Now the weight's coming over into that right leg. So we're going to allow that communication, telling the body we're going to balance and stand on that right leg. Bend the left knee and lift the left heel off the mat. Yet again, communicating with the body what we're asking. Now go ahead and take those left toes back behind you. Keep that right knee, the standing leg, firm yet soft. So there could be a slight bend and the knee is fine. So we're going to let the arms stretch down. Turn the palms of the hands forward. Bring awareness to the back of the shoulders. It's as if drawing toward the wall behind you. Yeah, beautiful. Take a breath in. On the next exhale, draw the navel toward your spine and invite the left toes, so the back toes, to lift off the mat. You can inhale, let the toes come back to the mat. So find a focal point and keep your gaze fixed and focused there. On the next exhale, navel to spine, invite the toes to lift. So you might feel the back of the shoulders, the back of the hands lifting. Good. And you can inhale, release back. And then again, exhale, navel to spine. That's your gravitational center of the body. And then if and when it feels available to you, you're going to hold here, breathing. And knowing that those toes, that foot, can come back to the floor at any time. And then we can step back into Tadasana. Well done. Give the body a wiggle and a shake. And then back to our mountain pose. Once again, nice deep breaths here. So finding that slow, deep rhythm of the breath. So there's no expectations or judgments or demands. We see about letting go of all of that. Just being present. Again, rocking side to side. You might find your drishti, your focal point, something to keep your eyes focused on. Yeah, good. And then we're going to shift the weight into the left leg this time. Bending the right knee, lifting the right heel. So again, communicating with the body that we're going to be balancing and standing on that left leg this time. And the knee is firm yet soft. Good, and awareness again. Our center, our body's gravitational center, where our navel is. We're communicating with the body, with the mind, that we're going to be balancing here. So we're going to let the arms stretch down, turn the palms forward. So again, just that little awareness of the back of the shoulders and the back of the hands. But again, you can work with the option arms out like wings of an airplane, or stretching the arms forward. So again, you can play with those options should you wish. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and invite the right toes to come on back. And now setting ourselves up for our Warrior 3 variation. Taking a breath in. Exhale, navel drawing to spine. We're going to invite the upper body to tip forward and lifting the right toes. Those back toes off the mat. Inhale, can release. Exhale, navel towards spine. And lifting the foot just to your comfort level. Inhale, the foot can return. You can continue to move in and out, or then if and when it feels available, you're going to hold here and breathe. So just allow this to unfold. There's no expectations. We're not judging or expecting anything. Just allow it to happen. Foot can come to the mat. Back to our mountain pose. Beautiful. Noticing sensations, and then wiggle, shake, and release. All of that. Nicely done. So finding that focal point and keeping your gaze focused, in yoga we call that our drishti. That's very helpful in balancing, as well as drawing navel towards spine. Yeah, that's communicating with the body, with the brain, and the systems in the body, the vestibular systems, to help with our balance. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to make our way onto the mat. We're going to practice coming down into table. Now, before we go down onto the mat, if you don't wish to come onto the mat, you have the option of coming into tabletop, bringing your hands on the seat of a chair. So if you're using that option, your position might look like this. Yeah, you can have a slight bend in the knees, so a nice neutral spine or flat back. Okay, so everything that we do, you can do from that position should you wish. If you're coming down onto your mat, the invitation is to take one foot back, coming into that high lunge, release the knee to the mat, low lunge, and then hands come to the mat, and then that front foot goes back, and here we are in our tabletop position. So in tabletop, the wrists are beneath the shoulders, and the knees are beneath the hips. And we're just going to play a little bit with some movement here. So we're going to rock back as if we were coming into child's pose, but we're not going to go all the way there. I'm just going to move back a little bit more. So rocking back, and then we might rock forward. So as if we were going to come into a high cobra, but not going all the way. So just, you'll feel the weight transition into your hands. You might find that little release, and then sinking back, and then coming forward. So this is our child's pose, high cobra play. So we're just moving, fluid movement. Good. And then go ahead and make your way back to your table. And we're going to meet there. So go ahead and invite your knees to come a little closer together than hip width apart. So if you're using the chair version, you can bring your feet together. Good. So nice and neutral spine. Keep your gaze at the space between your hands. Continuing with your breath, and as you exhale, navel draws to spine. Yeah? Good. So awareness to the right leg now. Invite the right leg to extend toward the wall behind you. See if you can keep your pelvis level. Tendency for the pelvis to lift up. I'm going to see if we can keep that pelvis level here. Point the toes, and then flex the foot. Press the heel toward the wall behind you. Draw your toes toward your shin. Pelvis stays level. Your gaze remains at the space between your hands. Elongating the spine. Keep that navel drawing back toward your spine. Beautiful. And go ahead now and release that right knee to the mat, or the foot if you're using the chair version. Good. Let's bring awareness now to the left arm. Left arm. So take a breath in. Exhale, navel to spine. Nice neutral spine. Bring awareness to that left hand. Go ahead, shifting the weight into the right arm and hands. Let the left hand and arm float forward. Keep the gaze down at your mat. Beautiful. Go ahead and release the hand. Back to the mat. Lovely. Awareness now to the left leg. Take a breath in. Exhale. Left leg extends back. We're pointing the toes as if you were reaching for the wall behind you with your toes. Beautiful. Keep the pelvis level. Imagine after your yoga practice cup of tea is resting on your back. Yeah, on the back of your pelvis. Good. Now press through the heel. Draw your toes toward your shin. Good. Keep breathing. Navel to spine. Keeping your gaze at the space between your hands. Beautiful. Keep breathing. And release the knee to the mat. You can take your knees hip width apart now. Awareness then to your right arm. Shifting the weight into the left arm and hand. Let the right arm extend forward. As if you're reaching for the wall in front of you. Back of shoulders lifting. Keep the gaze at the mat. Good. Navel to spine. Beautiful. And go ahead and release that hand back to the mat. So if you're working with this on your own, you can play with alternating. So right arm, left leg can extend. We did the single version, but you can certainly explore extending arm, opposite arm and leg at the same time. So that's fun. So let's play. Again, rocking back, rocking forward. Let's play with that movement. And then we might play with circling. So imagine that you were making circles around your knees or around your feet if you're using the chair version. So circling the pelvis around the knees. Good. Both directions, so changing direction. Good. And then allow this movement now to, we're circling the chest around the hands, around the wrists. Good, and changing direction. Very nice. Beautiful. And so we're going to walk our hands back toward our knees and let the hands walk up the front of the legs. We're just going to come into this kneeling posture. If you're using your chair, then you're coming into standing. And we're going to go ahead and roll those shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Take the hands behind you and interlace the fingers. And from here, we're going to encourage those arms to stretch down. So just do this very gently and playfully, like exploring, just being really curious. So we're pressing the arms down, stretching out those wrists. Yeah. And then you might see about letting the shoulders draw back and down. Keep that chin tucked in ever so slightly. We're finding a bit of a extension of the spine, so a little back bend here. So this would be a variation of Ustrasana or camel pose. And then go ahead and slowly release. Hands can come down the front of the legs, and we're going to make our way back to our tabletop position. So whether you're on the mat or you're using your chair, whatever option feels good. So we're going to work a little bit with our cow-cat movement. So from our tabletop, we'll take a nice neutral spine, taking a nice deep breath in. And on the out breath, drawing your navel toward your spine, we're going to go ahead and let our heavy head lengthen down, so crown of the head moving toward the floor as we press the back body toward the sky. Relax your jaw, breathe here. So this is our cat pose. Breathing deeply, navel drawing to spine, head hanging loose. Nice. Slowly easing the body back to our neutral spine in our table. So now if we were to explore cow pose, so extending the spine, so flexion in our cat. Now we're going to extend. So the collarbones begin to broaden, taking your gaze slightly forward, letting your belly move toward the mat as you lift the sits bones ever so slightly. Now if this brings any discomfort, stay with that neutral spine in your table. Totally fine. So cow pose extension, and then navel can draw towards spine as we go back to our flexion in our cat pose. Pressing your hands, pressing your knees or your feet, if you're doing this with the chair, to the floor. Good, and then we might take a breath in, as if letting the ribs and the belly expand toward the earth. We can move into our neutral spine or cat or cow pose. Lovely. And go ahead and ease back to that neutral spine. So we're going to now make our way to a seated posture. So having a seat on the mat or have a seat in your chair. So whatever option you're working with. So a comfortable cross-legged position, or you're going to sit in a chair. We're going to work with a gentle twist here. So ears and shoulders and hips to align. We're going to go ahead and take the right hand in front of you. Take the left hand slowly back behind you. And we'll take a breath in, sits bones to the earth, grow tall through the crown of the head. On the out breath, navel draws towards spine as we rotate to the left here, left shoulder drawing back behind you, the right shoulder drawing slightly forward. And we're breathing. Each exhale, navel drawing towards spine. Lovely. Slowly easing back to center. Just taking a pause. Always approaching and working with rotation, rotating the spine with awareness and caution. So being very mindful. Left hand comes out in front, right hand behind. Good. Take a breath in, and on the out breath, right shoulder draws back, left shoulder draws forward. You can take your gaze toward the wall behind you as if you're looking over that right shoulder. On the exhale, you feel the navel drawing toward the spine. So when we rotate the spine, the rotation begins in the lumbar region of the spine, moving up through thoracic spine and into cervical spine. So the head is just there's just a gentle turn, as if just following that rotation up through the spine. And then easing our way back to center. So this would end your practice now. You can do your relaxation seated in the chair. Otherwise, we're going to come down onto the mat on our front body. We'll play a little bit with our Sphinx pose before coming on to the back body. So as we lower down onto the front body, we're going to invite the elbows to come up underneath the shoulders. So this is a very gentle back bend. This is called Sphinx pose. So palms are to the floor. And you might choose to explore the breath here in Sphinx pose. If you'd like to include some abdominal work here, the movement would be inhale, the front of the pelvis to the floor, or to the mat as we are here. On the out breath, we're going to take our gaze toward our navel and press into the elbows and forearms and lift the front of the pelvis just slightly off the mat. Inhale, release down, take the gaze slightly forward. Exhale, navel, or gaze to navel, navel to spine, and lifting the front of the pelvis off the mat. So those are called Sphinx roll-ups, and you can feel free to explore these to your comfort level. And then from here, the invitation is to come onto the back body. So you might press your hands into the mat, coming up onto your knees. Feel free to use a little lift under your head, should you wish, as you lie down on the mat. So coming on to the back body. You might bend the knees, holding on to the back of your legs and slowly easing down onto the mat. So just allowing the body to adjust to being on your back. And we're going to invite the knees to bend, and we're going to find our feet about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to find the heels, the ankles, underneath of our knees. Now, if you have, we're going to explore slant board, Setubandhasana. Now, if you have a lift under your head, one of the things to keep in mind in slant board is that we're not going to come up to full range of motion. You can release, if it's available to you, release the cushion from under your head and let the head rest back to the floor. So this posture is a wonderful posture to explore. And it's suggested, Osteoporosis Canada suggests that we lie in this position, either the knees bent or with the legs straight, to allow our body to rest in perfect alignment. Yeah? So that chin tucks in ever so slightly, back of the neck stays long. So yeah, so that's something that you can work on, and when we get to Shavasana, that is the position that we will bring our body in Shavasana. So bending the knees, bringing the feet to the mat again, hip width distance apart. We're going to turn the palms toward the sky, let the back of the hands rest to the floor. This is going to encourage the collarbones to broaden and let the back of the shoulders move toward the floor. Taking a breath in. On the next exhale, press your feet into the mat and go ahead and lift the pelvis up off the mat. So this is our slant board. So we're really feeling the heels pressing to the floor, pressing to the mat. You might even be able to wiggle your toes and lift or tap the balls of your feet. So we're holding our slant board and breathing. You can play with some options here. So one being inhaling, you can lower so that you're to the mat and take a rest, or you can hover just above the mat. Inhale, and then exhale to press back up. So we can do a couple of those and see how they feel. You can also work with little pulses. Just little pulses, little lifts, pressing those heels to the mat and little lifts. So it's fun to have some options to explore in our asanas or our postures. Good. And then, of course, we have holding the pose. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and slowly begin to ease back down. Wonderful. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Lovely. Go ahead and bring awareness now to your right leg, and we're going to go ahead and invite the right leg in toward the chest. So you can hold on to the outside of the leg, you can take the hands underneath. I'm just going to encourage that right leg, that right knee to draw in toward the chest. And then if it feels comfortable and available to you, you might extend the left leg to the mat. But keep the knee bent if you're more comfortable there, it's fine. And we're breathing. Now, if it's available to you, we might take that right leg up toward the sky, and we might circle that ankle both directions. Good. And again, if you're more comfortable bending that left knee and having the foot to the mat, you do that. If you're also more comfortable with the lift under your head at this point, you go ahead and do that. Good. And hugging that knee back into the chest. Good. Hold on to that knee and draw it out to the side. So you might take the hand to the inside of the knee and just invite that knee to move toward that side wall. Again, this left leg can be straight, or you can have the knee bent and foot to the floor. Totally up to you, whatever feels good. Draw that knee back up. Take the knee into your left hand and invite it across the midline. Just to your comfort level. Keep the back of the pelvis to the floor. You're fine. You're breathing, just letting the outside of that hip stretch. Beautiful. Go ahead, take that knee, draw it back in toward your chest, bending that left knee if it isn't already, and take that right foot back to the floor. Now both knees are bent. Yeah. Good, let's try this on the left side. So drawing left knee in. So you can hold on the outside of the leg, or preferably under, so we're not putting any pressure on that knee, and drawing in. And we're breathing. You gotta keep the back of the neck long. Again, you can put that lift under your head here if you're more comfortable. So right leg can stay bent, or you can straighten it to the floor. So that's totally up to you. Taking nice deep breaths. And then we can invite that leg to straighten. So we're supporting that leg. And if this is challenging for you to hold here, if you have a belt like off your bathrobe, like a soft belt, or you could even use a hand towel or dish towel, something like that. Yeah, a tie works too. A scarf. It's winter. It's winter. You have your scarf around. Circling the ankle, wiggling the toes. Beautiful. Go ahead and bend that knee. And so now take your left hand to the inside of the knee, and we're just going to encourage that knee to come out. So we're just stretching that inner thigh. Good. And the outer hip. Beautiful. Go ahead and draw that knee back upright. Nice deep breaths. Go ahead and draw that knee over. So right leg can be straight, or it can be bent. The knee can be bent. Feeling that nice stretch to the outer hip. Beautiful. Taking that knee back upright. Drawing that knee into the chest. We're going to go ahead and bend that right knee. Foot to the mat and release. Good. Go ahead now and let the legs, if you're comfortable, to straighten to the mat. Otherwise, keep the knees bent and feet to the mat. Arms come to the mat, back of hands to the mat, back of shoulders. And we're breathing here in Shavasana. Just let the body relax and soften to the earth. And the invitation is to remain here for as long as you like in your relaxation pose. Namaste.